Hello and welcome back to more HoIIV for Kaiserreich. This time we're starting off a new playthrough. I think this time I'm going to do Russia, except on camera. Just because I had so much fun with it last time, and I do want to do it again, but as a different ideology. Because when I did it on my own, I brought back the monarchy under, I believe, the authoritarian Democrats. Why would I do any custom game rules? I haven't taken a look at what you can do. Wow, they even have it split amongst the continents. Maybe I'll mess with that some other time. Also, a thing about my Austria playthrough. I figured out why I wasn't able to reform Hungary. What I meant by reform Hungary was I had to go to war with them, occupy them, and then release them, i.e. reforming the nation. So yeah, what I was supposed to do in the Ausgleich was get them to leave. And then when they refused to give up, the territories like around here, then I would declare war on them and do that. So yeah, that's what I did wrong. And that's why I didn't go down the status quo side, because I didn't realize.
Я готов. До приказа. До приказа. Готов выдвигаться. Готов? Я готов. Я готов. Внимание! Готов выдвигаться. Готов?
Oops.
Мирно! Жду приказа.
Oh, I'm forgetting you.
Брось!
Alright, that's everybody. Before I forget, I should disable that. Just in case. Because I definitely will get claimed for that. I have actually gotten, I believe I've gotten 2 claims for some songs that come with Kaiserreich. But I don't care.
Слушаю. Жду приказа. Брось! Так точно.
Let's make some convoys. So I only have 59. Sorry, I have 60, but I'm using one. A troubled history. The February Revolution put an end to centuries of Tsarist despotism, but its achievements were on the verge of being undone. In October of 1917, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, stormed the Winter Palace and seized control of Russia, declaring the world's first revolutionary socialist state, Soviet Russia. A wide front of monarchists, republicans, moderate socialists, and foreign interventionists rose up against it. The Bolshevik Revolution was stillborn. In September of 1918, Lenin was assassinated by Fanny Kaplan, a disgruntled left SR, and the Bolshevik cause began to disintegrate. This, combined with German supplies provided to the White movement throughout the Civil War, meant that by 1920, the revolution was successfully suppressed. In 1922, the White generals dictated a constitution for the new Russian Republic, which, albeit democratic, was riddled with issues and did not satisfy everyone. Hoping that he would prove to be a weak figurehead, the Whites pushed forward Alexander Kerensky, the leader of the provisional government before the October coup. As the first president of the Russian Republic, Kerensky would prove to be capable. However, he survived the 1925 Kolchak Putsch and implemented new economic policy to restore economic growth, and has governed the country for the past 15 years. A lack of serious political opposition and widespread electoral manipulation have certainly helped his longevity as well. By 1936, however, President Kerensky has eroded the last of his allies in the government, and new economic policy is no longer yielding any dividends. Nationalists see him kowtow to Germans, Democrats believe that he is turning into a dictator, and socialists simply want the entire system gone. All of them share one belief, however, that Russia still has the potential to assert its power in the world. Long live Russia, one and indivisible. Oh god, there's more. More reading! So it's a lot of reading in the beginning of Kaiserreich. Signed in 1922 after the end of the Russian Civil War, and 5 years after the February Revolution, the Constitution of the Russian Republic is a scar of the fractured White movement which saw its adoption. It defines Russia as a federal democratic republic, guarantees universal freedoms and rights to every citizen of the republic, and is the document by which the country's political institutions have been organized since then. In some ways, the Constitution is an updated version of the Tsarist Constitution of 1906. The upper house of the Parliament, the Senate, is the main example of this authoritarian heritage. It is an unelected institution composed of senior statesmen and delegates from upper strata, such as aristocrats, university professors, and business associations. The lower house, the State Duma, is elected and holds most of the legislative power in the country. The presence of the unelected Senate curbs democratic process in the country, however. The president is elected by the Senate, but many of his powers and duties are styled after the position of Tsar in the 1906 Constitution. Therefore, he holds significant executive power and appoints the Council of Ministers with the approval of both legislative houses. The President is the primary actor in executing legislative acts and represents the Republic in foreign affairs. He also has access to the infamous Article 48 of the Constitution, which allows the President to take emergency actions without the approval of the Duma. President Alexander Kerensky has grown fond of using this power to bypass the increasingly fractured legislature and thus pass decrees and laws. Drafted under the guidance of the White Generals, the Constitution can only call itself a protector of democracy when its articles are not used against it. At least the Constitution guarantees stability. There's more. Fuck it, pause the video and read on your own time. Done reading? Good. Got some lovely Russian music going on in the background. The assassination of Kerensky. The sound of gunfire rings across the capital. Alexander Kerensky, the president of the Russian Republic, was shot and killed by an assassin while he was climbing the steps to the Senate House. His killer was shot dead by the military police before he could make his escape. His motives will forever be unknown. Regardless, the fate of Russia has been irrevocably changed. A shot that will ring across the world. Yay, political instability. Observation rights on the Legation Council. Yes. We only have observation rights there. The aftermath of the assassination of Karensky. Karensky may have been hated by many, but it is only when he died did it become clear how much Russia needed him. The coalition between cadets and socialist revolutionities? Is that a word? Anyway, the coalition between cadets and socialist revolutionities has begun to dissolve immediately. Kerensky's right-hand man, Viktor Chernov, who had actually handled the nitty-gritty of coalition building, while the president acted as the public face of the party, has suddenly found his job to be a lot harder. All while the right-wing forces in the Senate and the Duma coalesce and gather their forces. Their soon-to-be savior is Grand Duke Dmitri, who has all the material to be a fine president in their eyes. Chernov's only hope is that the left opposition, the Mensheviks and radical socialists represented by Iraki Tsereteli and Alexander Shlyapnikov, will put rivalries aside and join forces with the hated SRs and cadets. Anti-democratic forces plot in the shadows, too. Peter Wrangel, the Black Baron, and Field Marshal Davor Kornilov have independently drawn their plans on seizing control of the state for this exact occasion. They have no reason to play ball with their parliamentarians in Moscow now that Kerensky is gone, after all. Whatever may be the outcome of the January crisis is bound to leave a lasting impact upon Russian history. Alright, now I get to choose what happens. Let's see. Coalition of the Plural Left. Chernov's coalition falls. The parliamentary right elects Dmitry Romanov. Gotta see who's the leader of different factions to see who I want. Right now the social liberals are in power. Who do I want to win, though? Is there a way to go paternal autocrat? Who's the leader of the paternal autocrats? Davor Kornilov. No. Yeah, let's go with Kornulov. Paternal autocrats. Cornulov Affair. The news that Kornulov's forces are descending upon Moscow sparked a repeat of 1917. Trade unions and leftist organizations broke out their arms to defend Russia's democracy and constitution from a soon-to-be dictator. Kornilov chose not to retreat this time, however, and cooperating with the combat squads, the parliamentary of the National Republican Party took the fight to streets. After hours of barricade raising and street clashes, order was finally restored. The Duma dissolved and a provisional military government installed. Headed by the new Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Army and acting President, Kornilov. However, he also understands that without a coherent political program, his control over the country will swiftly be lost. The temporary Prime Minister, General Alexander Bolshevik, a well-known supporter of Kornilov, can maintain a modicum of order, but he has awful relations with almost all Republican factions in the country. Kornilov's first choice would be to invite Boris Savinkov, the leader of the NRPR, to assume the office of Prime Minister. Though he is far from being on the best of terms with Savinkov, his far-right concept of national renewal sounds very appealing. On the other hand, perhaps Savinkov is too suspicious to trust, and Marshal Denikin would help Kornilov consolidate his control over the country. More stability. Less stability with that bonus. This one. Valash Autonomy declares independence. Terrible news. Our autonomous region of Valash Orda has decided to use the political chaos in Russia to sever almost all their ties with Russia and declare independence. While many hotheads in the general staff are demanding immediate action, ongoing chaos prevents us from responding to this treachery. It seems that we must let Valash Orda be for now. There's nothing we can do. Yeah. The Kornilov-Savinkov alliance. The boogeyman of any socialist in the Duma and the most powerful far-right force in the country, the National Republican Party, once started out as an anti-Bolshevik conspiracy in Moscow, the Union for the Defense of the Motherland. Its leader, Boris Savinkov, is one of the most interesting political leaders in the country. A former socialist revolutionary terrorist turned nationalist politician, who has developed a political ideology based on his own extreme and somewhat esoteric beliefs, and the influence of his close allies such as symbolist poet Dmitri. Having remained in the fringe of Russian politics in the 1920s, the NRPR exploded in popularity in the 1930s. Its affinity to spectacle politics, populism, parliamentary violence, and irredentism attracting many, and even inspiring imitators outside of Russia. Blake's playing Watch Dogs 2 again. Approached by Kornilov, his old ally from back in 1917, Savinkov accepted and has dedicated the NRPR combat squads to the apparatus of the state. Kornilov and Savinkov shall save Holy Russia. Yeah, paternal autocrats. Dictatorship. Now what?
Royce!
I'm just getting on the board of Valash Orda because that's like the first place you should invade when you start going down the invasion path. Nobody's backing these two countries. Total's charter, yes. Payment of the Brest-Litovsk reparations. During the Berlin Conference in November 1935, the Germans forced us to repay the remaining part of the Weltkrieg War indemnities, agreed upon in the Brest-Litovsk Treaty in 1918, 1 year earlier than expected, which has put the government in a delicate position. Current budget for 1936 is already stretched to a bare minimum, and if we are to pay the accursed Teutons, the cabinet sees no other alternative than to impose harsh austerity measures. Excuse me. The cuts in government spending will be most harshly felt in the social services sector, and in the many homes in invalided war veterans depending on the state support. Our citizens were already disgruntled and dissatisfied with the incumbent coalition of cadets and socialist revolutionaries, united under the even more unpopular presidency of Alexander Kerensky. And it is feared that these austerity measures will bring still more extreme political groups onto the political scene. We must increase austerity measures. Oof. Oh, that's stability. Huh. Remember, kids, in Kaiserreich, stability can go negative.
Я готов.
Afghanistan to conform to the meaning. Oh, yeah, that. Civilians elected in France. Good for them. 5th Anglo-Afghani War. Yep. Gonna go as it usually does. Empire of Austria withdraws from Italy. Reorganization of the internal police. As a symbol of Tsarist repression, the Guard Department was abolished by the Provisional Government on March of 1917, and never restored. In effect, however, secret police practices in the Russian Republic never vanished, and simply changed form. The White Forces in the Russian Civil War operated their own measures against Bolshevik subversion. And several departments were formed under the Ministry of Internal Affairs to fulfill the same purpose, such as the Third Directorate of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, or the Gendarmerie, something like that. Alexander Kerensky's government used these institutions with little hesitation to prevent a second revolution. The most famous of their actions was the assassination of Tambov revolutionary Alexander Antonov. By mid-1935, the president was planning to reorganize the internal police and establish the Department for Protecting Order, which would bear the same name as the Tsarist Okhrana. Though he may have passed, people in our government called to finish his reforms, and thus grant us a powerful tool at defending the current order. An excellent idea. Oh, that's right. I have to create the agency using. Oh yeah, I can create the agency right after that event. In fact, it's the only thing I can do right now. As usual. Yep. Black Monday hits Russia. Almost 3 weeks ago, and the Berlin Stock Exchange plunged into bottomless depths, throwing Germany's economy into an unprecedented crisis. Now the shockwaves of the crash have reached Russia. German and Austrian-owned companies have closed down or laid off their workers. The Russian ruble is losing value, and resource exports are shrinking. Let's hope the government will save us from the worst. French loyalists restore monarchy. Will it change anything? Marshal Wu Peifu backs in king. Okay. So they're the French Empire now. Now look at that, authoritarian Democrats. Where are they in the tree? Yeah, what do you know? Wait. Napoleonic monarchy? Yes, it is. Napoleon the Fourth. Ivan Pavlov dies. Let's hope the classical conditioning works on humans. Restoration of democracy in Australasia. Interesting. Assassination of Maria Spiridonova. During a meeting of the left SRs in Moscow, Maria Spiridonova was assassinated by members of Savinkov's combat squads. Liquidation of such a prominent socialist leader provoked an early and consequently ill-organized rebellion against the government. The rising was easily suppressed by a concert of the police and combat squads. Today, General Kornulov published a new law prohibiting the left SR party and proscribing its leaders. With the flower of its leadership cut down by the scythe of the state, the socialist revolutionaries no longer pose any threat to the Kornulov Savinkov diarchy. Thus unto all enemies of the state. Oof, that lost of manpower. Failure of a bombing plot. Ah yes, but we're gonna get this a lot. This pop-up. Death of Pius XI. Oh yeah, that's right. Long Nepal. The First International Congress. Pius XII, elected as new Pope. Good luck, Your Holiness. May you not be full of holes. Alright, agency created. Well, I only got one option here. Establish the VES 105 days. Yeah, concentrated. Argentina? Decisions I can make. Let's recruit a head of intelligence. My first agent will be you. I want you to go here. Maneuvers in the Carpathians. Is it world changing? Tonight at 11. Workers' demonstrations. And there goes our stability. Even further down the shithole. First Women's Division of Death. Maria Botkareva, colonel of the Russian Army and hero of the Weltkrieg and Russian Civil War, have recently requested government to allow formation of the First Women Division by combining existing women's battalions of death, which would later serve as basis for formation of a women's corps. Accepting this proposal will surely boost the strength of our army and give significant propaganda value. but conservative elements in our armed forces, unwilling to change the status quo, have to be taken into consideration as well. Let's do it.
Мирно!
And now I got some divisions. Oh, they're veterans.